Today, we're going to be talking about blocks and beliefs. Now, first, I'm going to remind you that this is about experimenting. It's about recognizing that sometimes you may be a bit uncomfortable. It's about knowing that this is a safe space for you to be a bit uncomfortable and to also know that you can do something about it. Let's have a little bit of a conversation about blocks and beliefs around selling. And I want to just say that it's okay to have these. It's okay to know that you can keep working on them. There are things that you can do about them. You can use EFT, you can do journaling, you can do meditation, whatever you want to do in terms of maybe clearing some of this if that is relevant to you. So let's just take a step back and let's kind of explore why and in what circumstances you may find that you're having these blocks to selling. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually sales and marketing. Now, often and I think this is the thing that's often the way that it's sold or talked about or whatever, it's very transactional when we are talking about selling and marketing. And actually, they're often separated. But when you think about them as a together thing, when you take sales and marketing and you go, right, okay, this is how I feel about sales and marketing. This is what's taught about it. It feels icky. This is why it feels icky. If you make it transactional, if you make it, very strategic, all the kind of practical stuff, which I help with, I have tools to help you to do that, then it can feel a bit pedestrian. However, my approach, and this is what I want to encourage you to do and to think about, is to think about it as connecting, to think about it as building relationships, to think about sales and marketing as a tool to help your potential clients on their journey with you as part of the transformational pathway. So this is something that I'm developing, is how you create that transformational pathway and then how your different offerings all connect together, including your sales and marketing, to take people on that journey with you. Now, thinking about it as a transformational journey, thinking about sales and marketing as adding value and changing the conversation that you're having with yourself about it makes a difference. Now, one thing I did, because I wanted to change the way I thought about it, was like I have a marketing library, which I'm happy to call marketing now because I've changed the way I think about it. I changed the word to connection. So whenever I was talking about marketing to myself, I was talking about it as connecting. So for me, all of the way I market and the way I'm strategic about marketing, and I've got a social media planning toolkit that people can use and all of this kind of stuff. But all of that social media planning, it's called something transactional, but going through it for me is about building those relationships and those connections. And yes, you can talk about the transactional terms, but when your heart and your soul, you're thinking, you know what, sales and marketing, that's part of my transformational pathway. That's part of the value that I'm adding to my audience. It's kind of what I offer for free, but then I invite my audience to buy from me because number one, let's be frank, we all need to buy, eat. And number two, actually, you know what? There's an energetic transfer of money, and that's the society we live in. Now, that actually leads me neatly onto our second block and second barrier that can often sort of hit around selling, and that is money. So, you know what? Asking for money can be quite a big thing. It's something that I actively work on myself, and I'd encourage you to work on owning what you're doing and thinking, it is a business. It's a business of transformation. That's what you can think of it as. It's about you motivating yourself, but at the end of the day, it is about money. Now, some people might say that I'm very cheap. And at the moment, because I've developed quite a few new things and my business has changed, I am offering things at what is quite a low price. And I'm open and honest about that. I'm working on my money mindset all the time, but actually, for me, it's about going, you know what, you're going to take a punt working with me, because at the moment, I don't have a lot of social proof. I don't have a lot of people who've been through some of the things that I'm offering. And you know what? I'm going to reward that by offering it you at that price. Now, when I'm putting it out there, that is my intention. My intention isn't, oh my God, I'm not worth it. And this is the thing, when you're thinking about your pricing, when you're thinking about putting things out there, I'm also a huge believer, and I'd encourage you to put the money on the posts, to put the money on your website, to tell people how much things are. Now, you can charge 10 grand for your ultimate program. And that's one of the things that, I get people to do their ultimate program to start with, which could be your 10 grand program. And that might feel really uncomfortable. But by doing that, that's about designing that transformational pathway. And when you start to think about it in those terms, all of a sudden, there's great power, there's great confidence, there's like a pushing of that comfort zone. And that is another potential block. Is that kind of not feeling confident in what you're saying, in what you're doing, is doing that comparisonitis thing. Some people call it the imposter syndrome. But you know what? You can stand out. You can be a leader in your field when you're thinking about going out there with confidence, pushing your comfort zone, not exploding your comfort zone, but pushing your comfort zone. You can do practical things like put your arms out and feel like this and do some music stuff that makes you feel confident when it comes to thinking about selling, when it comes to putting that post out there, when it comes to, if this is the way you do it, having that conversation about discovery call. Wait a minute, I've just got to have some water. And discovery calls and all of that kind of stuff. The thing I would encourage when it comes to discovery calls, and the thing I do virtual coffees, and I do virtual coffees with people who are interested in working with me, but there are different ways that you can do discovery calls if that's part of your leading and one-to-one work or one-to-one hybrid work, or big, more expensive programs are part of what you do, then discovery calls is a really good way. It doesn't have to be 15 minutes, but it's a really good way of, and again, that's a transactional word, discovery calls, but you know what I mean. It's a really good way of getting to know someone, and the way that you feel confident and that it's not a sales kind of thing, is it's about adding value. It's about helping. And this is where we're changing the conversation and changing the way that we think about selling. And finally, one of the other things that can impact and can block you is your knowledge about bringing together your marketing messages and making it link in with what you're selling, and the knowledge of those transactional things and the tech and all of that can make you feel kind of like, oh my God, I can't go out and do this. But you know what, you can. It's then about making things as simple as possible. It's then about thinking about, one of the things that I'm a big advocate of is what I call magnetic marketing messages. And that's about going, these are my offerings as part of my transformational pathway, and my marketing themes are going to link in with those offerings. So then when you doing a sales post, or when you're and we'll talk about launches and promotional plans and stuff in one of the other days. So when you're doing, if you're then doing other posts that link on that subject, all of a sudden it feels like it's flowing. It feels like you're sharing your knowledge, but also that's linking in with your selling. So that's kind of the thing that I'm thinking of. Hopefully that all makes sense. If not, please ask a question in the comments. Have a fantastic day. I'm going to let you go and enjoy the tests, and let me know your number one takeaway in the comments.